Hello and welcome to tonight's preview. It's Wednesday, the 28th of December, Mrs. PL's birthday, by the way. And you're going to go to the 609 first race of the evening on a pretty good card tonight, I must say, as well. I've had a little tiny dabble on Tommy Zelina in the first race. A dog that I think has had his troubles maybe a month or so ago, but I'm pretty sure Debbie Calvert's got him right now, and he's got a nice turn of early. There's not masses of early in this race. Forward thinking is you can see that in the market has been backed. I made this one favourite forward thinking. I'm a little bit worried about the fact that he's still got to get round in the form. Did so last time out in the form. It's not really driving out the second bend, but will be there probably as a little bit of a nuisance on the inside around the first two turns. If forward thinking gets a clear run, he should go very close. But I have to say, he's struggling to win at Donny, and he keeps coming second quite a lot, and I keep falling for him myself as well. So at the price where he contracted to around about 6-4 and even 5-4 now, I thought it was a little bit too short. So I'm just going to have a small bet on Zelina. Drawn trap 5. I think he can get up inside Keedy Welcome. Buster's Mottram, his kennel mate, is probably not that so I just thought that Tommy Zelina, small bet around about 6-1, was a little bit overpriced. On to race 2, and a fairly confident selection here. Midas Lassie. We actually played this dog last time out when we backed Sharpie's Tom Tom, who beat Midas Lassie, and she ran really well, to be fair. She led a long way, and we chinned that one right on the line. Again, got a good makeup because a Merry Meeting Dev's in trap 2, and that's low breaker, not got any early and moving off. So Midas Lassie will have a real good scene to run up on the inside. Sharpie's Rudbrack in 3 is not really much of a pacey type, just a but Midas Lassie got inside that when they met a couple of runs back. Roy Rover's a slow breaker, moves into the middle and just plods on late. Rycroft Hugo's probably the only danger, but he needs to start. He's a dog that's probably got a tiny bit of early pace, but not as much as Midas Lassie. And I just think that if she gets a sound break, rush up on the inside, and there won't be too much opposition at the bend, and then she'll just sail around and hang on in the closing stages. So that's a fairly confident bet. It's around about 6-4, made it slightly shorter. So a medium-sized bet on Midas Lassie in the second race. Race 3, quite a lot, who cares? Because we always seem to do pretty well out the sprints. Moss Blue Boy in trap 6. He looks a real gimme for this dog. He's got a real plot draw. It's a bit kind of hit and miss in that he needs to break to show his pace, and he can miss it every now and again. But List of Jet is a dog that will move kind of middlish a little bit. It's a fairly hit and miss dog himself, really. Baliga Favor, I don't think she's running that well in 4. Clonless Blue Lee as well, likewise. Lee's little girl might have some kind of a squeeze, but a serial misbreaker with a little bit of early by Blue Way as well, more chasing pace than anything else. But the price contracted. I made Moss Blue Boy evens. I think it was about 13-8 with one firm, 4-6 with the other. So in the end, if it does go slightly odds against on the matchbook exchange, trap 6 in the third. The fourth race, and this is the 658. This was a greyhound that I thought had a bit of a drop in grade money last trap 2 in the red, but you can't have everything. Rocky is a serial misbreaker, so she's not the best of starters herself, money here last, but I think if she gets any kind of run into the turn, she'll lead, and she'll run away from them coming out the second turn. Ballymac Doyle is an old boy now, had plenty of experience, been off 24 days, did win a D4, but this is Midtown Monty, a misbreaker. Baby Tumble's a smash breaker in 5, but not got a lot of pace, really. Second Kenlin, I thought, was second favourite. Again, hit and miss, can show speed with a break and can look awful with a slow away. So I just went for money here, lass, around about a 9-4 mark. Was slightly bigger, but I did make that one about 11.08, 6-4. So there. On race 5, a sprint. It's a tricky enough sprint. I didn't really come up with any bets particularly, but I thought that Wildcats Kitty from trap 2 will edge off a little bit from that kind of draw. Had a squeeze. Again, I think it's a 7-2 the field race, but I think it was 8-1 with one of the firms, so I thought that was overpriced. And the other dog that might be slightly overpriced is Lagar Leclerc. Is more of a smash breaker, will move into the middle of the track as well, but beat Dream on Penny all right last time out, who's drawn on the inside of Lagar Leclerc again. Miniola Swift was, I'm not too sure, the jury's out with that one, so is a youngster and I suppose could bounce back to form. But I didn't really come up with a big play there. Maybe tiny bets on 2 and 6 if they're around about 5 or 6-1. Race 6, back over the 4-figure trip. I went mad about Chap here. Just a small bet. Dingy's Herbs on his inside. And this one, I can't work this ground out at all. Easing on the bends at the 3rd turn, quite dramatically, 2 runs back. And just a little check last time out. But just might drive Chap doesn't get a sound break. I think if you can get a level break, I'm sure Mad About Chap could get to the front out the 2nd turn. And if he shows his 2 to 3, could get loose. Dawn's Night, probably a little bit of an easing grade in trap 5. Free Inside, again, we mentioned this one, 4.5 years old now. More of a staying type, got to get around Dawn's Night. It will cut the bend, so that's not an impossibility. But at 15-8, I thought that Free Inside was just that little bit too short. Kilberry Tigers up in grade in trap 3, and Fairhill Runs got to get around that rival. So it was just a small bet. Mad About Chap, I thought 5-1, 9-2 was a bit too big. On to race 7. Again, I nearly put this down as one of the plays tonight, which is Rory. He's a bit of a monkey, really. He can trap and probably clear Boss Girl. She took one of a Sunday Express time out, but she's up in class here. She'll stay tight to the rails, which is Rory. Again, he's normally a pretty good breaker, but I say he looked like he was hanging with Concatenation last time out. Ardera Boss is a dog I really, really like. I'm not too sure whether he's all the ticket, and he might be a little bit of a thinker, but he's certainly got pace. And I'm sure that he's the runner. I think it's 2. And they're around about 4-1 on the early. So you could have a really tiny play on 2 and 3 and Dutch that pair. I think Blake's Arms has got a chance with a break. Keedy Din's becoming a little bit now. And slow breaks are not really helping. One Eye Jack, I think, is an early bird, but well up in class here, and I don't think he'll get round 2 and 3. On to race 8. Tricky enough race this. Ross Temple Burt's in this race, and we backed him last time out, and the hare was stopped literally 20 metres from the line when he was about 10 clear, which is a bit of a disappointment. But this is a much tougher race. One for Coco in 6 has led him before as well. She can get a decent start from the stripes, but she'll cut across. So really a great scenario for Ross Temple Burt. And Scarlet Beauty, I think she's running at the top of the game, 17 weeks. We know the credentials really of Red Marzelli in trap 2. It's her debut. She's a puppy and she's only had trials. But I noticed that she did trial against an A3 dog at P-Law, and she was beating the length of 3 quarters. That's probably not that bad a form. She switched to Donny here. Any money for that wouldn't trade. The dog that you could play in this race would be Optic the race form. But if he did, and I think could be front runners, especially one for Coco and Scarlet Beauty for that matter, then you could frame up Optic Magic at around about a 4-5-1 chance. But I've not put that up as a bet. But you know, if you did want to play and the prices were right, then that could be the move in race 8. On to race 9, the 8:38, another sprint. I really like Midtown. He's done us a couple of favours to back. He's again in a D, but got the draw again. I think can comfortably clear Kurt's Rush. Has already cleared Cleese Domino into the turn last time out when they made Cleese Domino favourite. Robin's Girl, we put that up last time out. Thought this was a real race, and the one where she got beat by a ruffian Helena. I thought Burnfoot Tango was the danger. A drop in grade here from decent B2s, Blast Off, Mo and Jinxed would be real short in this race. So that was one of the best and the strongest play probably of the card, was to bet Midtown Izzy, who's a completely and utterly enormous price at 9-2. I made that one favourite, and I made Burnfoot Tango second favourite, and that was around about 11-2 with the firms. Even 4-1 obviously would be a decent price. I didn't fancy on the outside. She won on the ground, and she's not coming around the turn, so I think it's a much tougher assignment. So all in all, a decent play race, Midtown Izzy and Burnfoot Tango. On to race 10. I thought I could price this race up a little bit wrong as well. A long race Brody was made short. I made that quite a big price. And likewise, Bungie's not really my sort of dog, relies on a break. But Knockout and Power keeps waiting to win. I'm not sure this dog's all the ticket, but certainly much better than Cedrina, who's drawn up on the inside. So Knockout and Power in 2. And Wacky Hacky, I thought, again, was another one that has dropped in grade. Had 3 runs here since switching from Central Park. With a slightly better break, couldn't get into the contest here. And again, one of the firms put up 7-1, which is far. On to race 11, real tricky race, this one. Parish Bulletin, they keep making this one short, missing it, flying turn, really coming around the bend. And I see they've made him favourite again, and it's a much stronger race. Whizzing Jet is a bit of a disappointment since he switched from Harlow, and he might be a bit of a quirky catch as well. Together was interesting, right? It's that Ice on Fire Mill Babe litter that switched from Kelly Macari's range in Newcastle. It was really early together in one of the Parish Bulletin. So I didn't really know how you could make that bulletin around about 6-5 chance. So I nearly went for a nibble on Come Together. If it is a big price on the Matchbook Exchange, then surely have a little token bet. Onto the lucky last, 928. It's a race where I backed Ridgedale Tiny at a massive price last week, and he won by a short head and went across the line together, Make My Day Punk. But Ridgedale Tiny broke behind Make My Day Punk, who's one of the widest runners at the track and wants to be in Trap 6, but kind of hit the rails at the first bend, and I thought lost a bit of momentum, and then it was close as they passed. I just don't see how Ridgedale Tiny can't beat Make My Day Punk again. It was probably 2 lengths better early pace of the bend than his rival. So I don't know why you could make 6 favourite in front of 5, and I'm sure that Ridgedale Tiny will go off very short indeed. So I think around about 9-4. Didn't really rate the others, drawn in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's look at the selections then. Get them up on the screen, if we can. That is. There you go. The wonders of modern science. Looking favourite, not that short. On in the 6:28, I went for Midas Lassie to lead all the way. The next race is 6:58. Trap 2, Money Here Last. Quite a confident selection there. Just get any kind of break. A small bet, Mad About Chap in the 7:36. Best bet of the night has got to be Midtown Izzy. So I'd even take 5-2 plus on that one. That shows you how confident I am with that. Burnfoot Tango as well is also the play in that race, just in case we do completely miss the break. And again, be lucky tonight.